Do you know what I love about Nigel Farage? It's that he can't help himself. He makes it so easy. Like, it should be so much harder than it is to prove that Nigel Farage is the bad guy on pretty much all the issues he talks about, whether it's the cost of living crisis, the safety of women, immigration, but he makes it so easy. Even when basic political strategy says, no, don't do that. Like, take the most recent example with Lucy Connolly. She is somebody who pled guilty to inciting racial hatred because her tweet literally said, if that makes me racist, so be it. And during the court, the judge read out her other tweets, like when somebody else tweeted that Islamophobia has no place in our society, she replied with fuck you. And when Tommy Robinson posted a video, she replied with the word Somalian and a throwing up emoji. And so you would think that with Nigel Farage's whole thing being, I'm not racist, I just want to control immigration, he would stay as far away as possible from somebody like Lucy Connolly, but no, he called for her release and is now treating her as a hero. Why? Because if he wants to become Prime Minister, he can't afford to lose the support of racists, and so he has to be their champion. Another example is the safety of women and girls, because you would think that if his whole shtick is, I'm tough on immigration because I care so much about the safety of women and girls, and foreigners might hurt women and girls, and I have to take a zero-tolerance approach to that, you would think the moment he found out that one of his MPs in his Reform Party was convicted of repeatedly kicking his girlfriend, he would be like, nah, out you go. Like, whether he genuinely cares about the safety of women and girls or not politically, you have to do that. Otherwise, you look ridiculous when you try and talk about the safety of women and girls if you're happy to have somebody who was convicted of beating his girlfriend writing our laws in Parliament. But no, because kicking somebody out of his party because of something bad they did in the past is cancel culture, and he can't ever be seen to be part of cancel culture, so he said that the crimes that that man committed against a woman were irrelevant. A third example is the cost of living crisis, and let's be clear, this man knew that Brexit would make everybody in the UK poor. The man worked in Brussels, inside the EU, for years. He knew that if you leave the EU single market, then you make it harder to trade with the EU, and we get a third of our food from the EU, so that was obviously going to make the British people poorer. He knew that. And so again, as a political strategist, you would think that, alright, once we've won this referendum, if the Tories are going to be the ones actually negotiating the Brexit deal, I should stay as far away as possible from them so that whatever they negotiate, they can take all the blame for Brexit making us poorer. And he did. For a while, the Reform Party was promoting a no-deal Brexit, so leaving the EU without any deal at all, which would be even worse than the kind of Brexit we have now, but at least it's not this one, so we can theoretically say that this Brexit, the poverty that it's causing, is nothing to do with him. But then you get to 2019 and it looked like the very existence of Nigel Farage's party might have meant that Brexit didn't happen, because the pro-Brexit vote in that election would have been split between Nigel Farage's party and the Conservatives. But what did he do? He deliberately stood down candidates of the Reform Party in order to help the Conservatives win and get through their Brexit deal. Which means he helped this specific version of Brexit happen, which means that all the poverty that Brexit has caused is on Nigel Farage as well. So Nigel Farage could have avoided being blamed for the cost of living crisis that we're all experiencing right now, but if he hadn't stood down the candidates of his party, then he would have been blamed by right-wingers for Brexit not happening. Again, he just can't help himself. This man has single-handedly proven that right-wingers do not care about working-class people in poverty, they don't care about the safety of women, and that they're racist. So thank you, Nigel Farage, for taking the mask off the far right.